It's the case everybody's talking about, a dramatic ending in the retrial of Harvey Weinstein. And yesterday, the judge was forced to declare a mistrial on the one remaining rape charge after the jury foreman said he could no longer deliberate. Joining us this morning with more, Arthur Aidala, Harvey Weinstein's attorney. Nice to have you back on Good Day New York.
And I say this with sincerity, there's no other place I'd rather be. And the jurors, if I could go back to the beginning of the trial 2 months ago, when you're doing jury selection and we asked them where you get your news from. You know, you want to hear what are they listening to, what impacts them. And I'm saying this, and it's on the record, the most cited source was Fox 5. Which is great because we wanted a local audience. And one particular juror, when we asked her, you know, where do you get your news from? She's smiling. She goes, I love me some Rosanna in the morning. And I was like, okay. And we picked her. She was on the jury. She was one of the jurors.
Can we talk about these verdicts? Because unheard of, and I think we may have some breaking news because you had one of the jurors actually come to your office last night.
Yes.
What did that juror, can you say what juror it was?
Yeah, well, we're not going to say his name because he would appreciate that, but it's been reported in the New York Times even this morning. It was juror number 7. He came to our, he spoke to the media, and then he came to our office. So Mr. Weinstein was convicted of one charge out of the 3. And the bottom line is, he said, look, that's not my verdict. He goes, there was 4 of us who were like for not guilty the whole time. He told us exactly who they were. I'm not surprised. I kind of felt that. And he said the other 8 were so overwhelming, and they said they had it backwards. Instead of proving beyond a reasonable doubt his guilt, they wanted us to prove his innocence. And the court of law in the United States of America,
it's the other way around.
The other way around. We've also been told that they deliberated on things that were not in evidence. They were talking all about the P. Diddy trial. They were comparing Harvey Weinstein's case to the P. Diddy case and the R. Kelly case, saying, well, those guys did things in hotel rooms. Harvey is accused of doing things in hotel rooms. So, you know, that he's got to be guilty. They said, we need to send a message. That's the last thing a jury is supposed to do. You're not supposed to convict someone of DWI because you want to send a message DWI is bad. You want to convict them because a police officer stopped them, blew into a machine, and it was over the limit. You don't deliberate to send a message. So there's some real juror misconduct, like significant. And the last one, again, it's reported in the New York Times, because one of the jurors was so steadfast in saying, I am not convinced beyond a reasonable doubt. The other jurors were like, she must be on the take. Either Weinstein or Aidala paid her off, which is insane.
There was talk about that.
It's insane.
So there was no money exchange?
Oh, come on. If Harvey's in prison, he can't see anybody. I would never do that. I couldn't even dream of it. I mean, we were shocked when the judge finally dismissed them, because one of the jurors is like, I'm afraid I can't go back in there. It's just too violent. He wouldn't even go in the room. Forget about deliberate.
So, Arthur, I've never seen where a judge will allow 2 partial verdicts and say, come back on the 3rd one the next day.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. I've never seen where they split up a verdict.
It's not common, but I will say Judge Farber, you know, he knows the law. He did the research, and we did the research. He had the ability to do it. So they didn't come out and say we have a hung jury or we have a verdict. They came out and said, well, one juror came out, the foreman, and said, it's pandemonium in there. I don't want to do it anymore. The judge brought them all in and said, have you reached a verdict on anything? They said, yes. He said, go in, write me a note. He came out, and they declared their verdict on 2 of the 3. And then he let them go for the day. And then yesterday morning, he said to the one juror, do you want to deliberate? He said no. And the judge had no choice. I mean, Rosanna, I was all Brooklyn. I was yelling and screaming, this should be a mistrial. Why is this not a mistrial?
Why?
You have a juror who's begging you not to go back in the jury room. But ultimately, the judge came to the proper conclusion because the jury didn't give him a choice. The jury is like, I'm not going back in there and dealing with those people.
So what did he do? Dismiss that person?
He dismissed the whole thing. That's what made him declare the mistrial. So look, from a defense point of view, when you're up against the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, they had their best prosecutors on this case. And they were very, very good prosecutors. They only got 1 conviction out of 3. That's barely getting by for them.
But by the way, they said they're going to retry him.
Which is such a waste of our money. Harvey Weinstein has already served as much time as he can on that woman. It's the lowest felony. It's an E felony. The most you could serve, Harvey's already done. I think it's 3 years. So, and she's talking about all the emotional baggage she brings every time she testifies, how bad it is. Why would they put her through that? Why would they waste our money to do that when if he got convicted of that, he can't do any more jail time?
Okay, so he can't do any more jail time, but you're going to try to appeal it.
We're going to appeal to them to not try that case. We're going to appeal to the judge with these jurors now, these 4 jurors coming in and talking to the judge and saying, Judge, this was not our verdict. We were beaten into submission. They were talking about all kinds of things that they shouldn't have been talking about. They violated all of your rules, and the judge does have the power to do a hearing and say, there was juror misconduct. I'm going to set aside the verdict. So we're going to see. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. But Harvey was sentenced to 23 years. Up until I argued in the Court of Appeals and had it reversed, he was going to serve 23 years. That's out the window, and we're hoping he's not going to have to serve too much more time in New York. He still has time he's got to do in California. That appeal is pending. That should be decided around the end of this year.
Okay, so Mimi Haley was here yesterday. That was the one count that Harvey was found guilty on.
Yes.
With this woman. She was here yesterday.
My friend Gloria was here, too, I hear.
Gloria Allred, yeah. She was here.
She's
and I just wanted
treasure.
you to know what Mimi felt in the cross-examination from you.
And also, there was some tactics by the defense to, I think, try to intimidate me from even showing up.
And what did you feel intimidated by, or did you?
Well, I felt that they were trying to, so I did feel that I had to show up and stand up for myself. You know, Weinstein's lawyer talked about me. He lied about me, in fact, in a press conference. Then they had some kind of podcaster talk, you know, insinuate untruths about me to millions of people, and that's kind of what made me feel like, well, you know, now I have to, now they're giving me no choice. I've got to show up and stand up for myself and stand up for truth.
So she said she felt intimidated.
Well, listen, anytime you go into a witness situation and you're in that courtroom, it is intimidating. No one was trying to intimidate her. What I brought up that she's referring to is in the first trial, she had not filed the lawsuit yet. But Gloria Allred was in the front row through the whole first trial. She told that jury, I'm not planning on suing Harvey. As soon as he got convicted 5 years ago, she sued him. And she collected $500,000. And so all I brought out was she lied. She lied to that jury. She lied to all 12 of the jurors there, saying, I'm not suing. And as soon as she possibly could, she did sue. She put $500,000 in her pocket. Of course, there was Gloria Allred's legal fees that were taken out of that. So I have no. I wish Mimi Haley a good life.
All you always walk away with some money. So I don't know. What happens to Harvey now? So he's here in New York. He's convicted.
He's in Bellevue. He's in Bellevue Hospital right now in the corrections facility. He's not in good health. The judge saw it. The prosecutor saw it. He had bad days. He's on a lot of medication. One day they didn't give him his medication. The judge made all kinds of calls to get the medication in there. We're going to try to keep him at Bellevue Hospital because as a human being at 73 with cancer, heart disease, he got all diabetes, that's where he should stay. California and New York's going to have to figure out where he's going to stay until that California appeal is perfected, which will probably be the end of this year. And I hope that Alvin Bragg thinks better of trying him again. Let's try the cases of the guys who are pushing people on the subways, who are robbing people, who are real threats to society. Mr. Weinstein can't even walk, let alone assault anybody else. He's already a convicted felon, not of rape. He's never been convicted of rape. It's sexual assault. And, you know, maybe there's light at the end of the tunnel because Harvey wants to see his kids. He wants to see Dash. That's all he keeps telling me. That's his son. Arthur, you need to get me out of here. I got to see Dash. If Harvey lives another couple of years, I am cautiously optimistic that it will.
Because he has a bad relationship with the kids.
He's got a good relationship with his little kids. Great relationship.
Okay, but there is two daughters he doesn't.
He speaks to one and he doesn't speak to the other.
Yeah.
But no, with his little kids, he's got a great relationship.
And why can't they see him right now?
No, he can. He wants to get out and see them. He wants to go to his baseball game. He wants to, he wants to be a dad. He wants to be a dad.
That's a different story.
Yes.
Okay.
It's been a trip, about 3 months doing this. It has been one heck of a ride, and I am actually going to, I think, take today off after. As long as you give me permission, after today, I think I might relax a little bit.
Go have a little Aperol Spritz and relax.
That sounds like maybe a Negroni, maybe a little something stronger than Aperol Spritz.
All right. Arthur Aidala, thank you so much for coming on Good Day.
I only wanted to be here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.